I lied about who I was, and I lost her because of it. Not right away. Not in some dramatic, obvious way. It happened slowly, one night at a time. And by the time I realized what I was losing, it was already too late. It all started with something simple. A random night and a slice of cheesecake. Okay, I wasn't supposed to meet her that night. Actually, I wasn't supposed to feel anything at all. Because at that point in my life, everything was routine. Work, meetings, decisions, repeat. I'm a CEO. And yeah, from the outside, that probably sounds impressive. But if I'm being honest, it gets empty. That night I was in another meeting. Big table, big numbers, big egos. And someone asked me, "William, what's your decision?" And I don't know why, but I just sat there. Because for the first time in years, I didn't care. So I did something I never do. I walked out. No explanation, no follow-up. I just left. I started walking around New York. No destination, no plan. Just moving. And then I saw this small café. Nothing special. Honestly, I probably passed by it 100 times before. But that night, I went in. And that's where I saw her. She was sitting by the window, still in her nurse uniform. You could tell she just got off a long shift. She looked tired, but not in a bad way. More like she gave everything she had that day. And in front of her, a slice of cheesecake. I remember this clearly. She took a bite, closed her eyes for a second, and smiled. Not a big smile, not the kind people fake, just real. And I don't know why, but I couldn't look away. So I did something stupid. I ordered the same thing. Yeah, cheesecake. Because of her. And when I sat down, she noticed. She looked at my plate, then at me, and said, "You copied me." And I laughed. Like, actually laughed. Which is rare for me. I said, "Is it that obvious?" And she just smiled. "Only if you've been staring." I should have been embarrassed, but I wasn't. I said, "I'm William." And she said, "Clara." And that was it. That's how it started. We started talking. At first, just random things. But then it got real. She told me she was a nurse. Her parents are Filipino. They moved to New York with nothing. Worked hard. Sacrificed everything. And you could hear it in her voice. She was proud of them. Then she asked about me. And I paused. Because I could have told her the truth. But I didn't. I just said, "I work in business." And she nodded. No questions, no judgment. And that hit me. Because she didn't care who I was on paper. She just talked to me like I was normal. We stayed longer than we should have, long after the cheesecake was gone. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel empty. When she finally stood up, she said she had an early shift. "Good night, William." "Good night, Clara." And then she left. And I just sat there, thinking, what just happened? I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. But I knew one thing. I wanted to. I just didn't realize yet that not telling her the truth would cost me everything. So I didn't plan on going back. I swear, I didn't. But the next night, I found myself walking the same street again. Same noise, same lights, same people rushing like nothing ever slows down here. And somehow, I ended up right in front of that cafe. I even paused for a second, like, what are you doing? Because this isn't me. I don't build habits around people I just met. But still, I walked in. And I don't know why I was nervous. Maybe because I wasn't sure if she'd be there, and I didn't want to feel disappointed over someone I barely knew. But when I looked up, she was there. Same seat, same quiet energy, same cheesecake in front of her. And I don't know how to explain it, but seeing her again felt like relief. She noticed me almost immediately, smiled like it wasn't weird that I came back. "You again," she said. And I just held up my plate and said, "Cheesecake again." She laughed. And just like that, it wasn't awkward. It felt easy. And that's how it started. Not in some big, dramatic way. Just small, consistent, quiet. I started going back every night, or at least every night I could. Sometimes she'd get there before me, already sitting, already halfway through her cheesecake. Sometimes I'd be the one waiting, pretending I wasn't checking the door every few seconds. But somehow, we always found each other. Same table, same late nights, same 2 slices of cheesecake. And I started noticing things about her. The way she rubs her eyes when she's tired. The way she exhales before talking about a hard day. The way she still smiles, even after everything she's seen. She told me stories about the hospital, not the dramatic kind, not the ones you see in movies, just real ones. About patients who made it and the ones who didn't. And I noticed something. She never talked like she was complaining, even when it hurt, even when it stayed with her. She just cared. And honestly, that was new to me. In my world, everything is calculated. Everything has a purpose, a return, a reason. But with her, there was none of that. She just showed up as herself. One night I asked her why she chose nursing, and she didn't answer right away. She just looked down at her hands. Then she said, "My parents. They moved here from the Philippines with nothing. Both nurses. Both exhausted all the time. But they never complained. They just kept going." And then she smiled a little and said, "I think I just wanted to be like them." I don't know why that stayed with me, but it did. Because she wasn't trying to be impressive. She wasn't trying to prove anything. She just knew who she was. And somewhere along the way, I started changing. I started eating properly, sleeping a little more, ignoring emails that felt urgent before. Not because I had to, but because she made me want to. One night she asked me, "Did you eat today?" And I almost laughed, because no one asks me that. So I told her the truth. Not really. She frowned. "You should. Even CEOs need food." And for a second, I froze. Because she said it so casually, like it was nothing. Then she laughed and said, "I'm kidding." But I wasn't. Because for a moment, it felt like she saw through me. And that scared me more than I expected. Because the truth is, I wasn't being completely honest with her. Every time she asked about my life, I gave her just enough. Never everything. I work a lot. It's stressful. It keeps me busy. All true, just not the whole truth. And the more time I spent with her, the heavier that felt. Because she wasn't hiding anything, and I was. Some nights we didn't even talk much. We'd just sit there, eating, listening to the city outside. And somehow, those were my favorite nights. Because with her, silence didn't feel awkward. It felt safe. There was this one moment. Our hands almost touched. Not planned, not intentional. But we both noticed. And neither of us pulled away right away. That's when it hit me. I was falling for her. Not in a loud way, not in a rushed way. Just slowly and deeply. And that's when things got complicated. Because the more real it became, the more I knew I couldn't keep hiding forever. And then one night, I walked into the café, and she wasn't there. Same time, same table, empty. I told myself she was just late. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 30. And that feeling, that quiet certainty I had every night, was gone. I checked my phone. Nothing. And that's when it hit me. I had no way of reaching her. No number, no last name. Just memories. And suddenly, that didn't feel romantic anymore. It felt like a mistake. I sat there longer than I should have, hoping she'd walk through that door. But she didn't. And for the first time, I realized something I wasn't ready to admit. I wasn't in control of this. Not her, not the timing, not what happens next. All I could do was wait. And I've never been good at that. So, she didn't show up that night. And at first I told myself it was nothing. She's a nurse, schedules change, things happen. But the next night, she still wasn't there. That's when it started to feel real. I kept going back anyway, same time, same table, waiting. And then one night, I saw her. But something was different. She wasn't smiling. She sat down slowly, didn't look at me right away. And that's when I knew. She found out. "Why didn't you tell me?" That was the first thing she said. No anger, no shouting. Just quiet. And somehow that hurt more. I tried to explain. I said it didn't matter, that I just wanted to be normal with her. But she shook her head. "You decided that for me," she said. And I didn't have an answer. Because she was right. She looked at me differently that night. Not like the guy she met. Like someone she didn't fully know. "I don't think I belong in your world, William." And that line stayed with me. Because the truth is, I didn't know how to make space for her in it. Or maybe I was just too late. She stood up, and this time, I knew she wasn't coming back. "Take care, William." And that was it. No dramatic ending, no second chances. Just silence. Now I still go back sometimes. Same cafe, same table. Sometimes I even order cheesecake, but it doesn't taste the same anymore. And I guess that's the thing about moments like that. You don't realize how important they are until they're gone. I met her because of a cheesecake, and I lost her because I didn't know how to be honest when it mattered most. This is Midnight Love Stories, where love is confessed after midnight.